ሰላም ሰላም እንዴት ናችሁ? ዛሬ ፊውቸር ቴንስ ፊውቸር አክሽን እንዴት በተለያየ ቴንስ ፎርም እንገልጸዋለን የሚለውን እናያለን። We will have two different videos. In this video, we will emphasize on expressing future action using present progressive and present simple. In my second video, I will focus on expressing future actions using be going to and will plus verb 1. Now let's come to the first tutorial video, which is on present progressive and present simple. We say progressive when verbs consist of ing, like writing, listening, doing, telling. So in those cases, we say the verbs are in progress. They are progressive. So the present progressive is used to indicate future event that will be ongoing or progressive. Although we see the present continuous form like am is are plus verb ing, the actions are future. So here it is, the structure, the basic structure that the present progressive takes. Verb to be plus main verb in the ing form. We have the verb to be am is are plus main verb with ing, like I am writing, I am doing. So the present progressive are used to express arrangements in the future. When we make arrangements, it could be personal ሊሆን ይችላል, group arrangement ሊሆን ይችላል. So በዚህ ሰዓት ሁሌም ዊል ፕላስ verb 1 አይደለም የምንጠቀመው። ፊውቸር ቴንስ በአራት መንገዶች ነው የሚገለጹት። ቅድም እንዳልኩት ሁለቱን በዚህኛው ቪዲዮ ልናያቸው ነው ማለት ነው። ኔክስት ዊክ፣ ኔክስት ይር፣ ቱሞሮ እንደዚህ አይነት ቃላቶች ካሉ ሞር ክሊር ያደርገዋል ማለት ነው። ለምሳሌ I'm going to visit you next week ብል future present progressive future action with present progressive ነው ማለት ነው። Look at the examples. I'm playing football with some friends. አሁን እየተጫወተ አይደለም። ከዚህ በፊት አሁን I'm writing ብል አሁን እየጻፈ ነው። Or I'm talking to my mom ብል አሁን እያወራው ነው። እዚህ ጋር ግን future action በpresent progressive ይገለጻል። So I'm playing football with some friends ካል ወደፊት ያለውን አሬንጅመንት ነው። ፐርሰናልም ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ቅድም እንዳልኩት ግሩፕ አሬንጅመንትም ሊሆን ይችላል። We are not going home for vacation. ወደ ቤት አንሄድም ነው የሚለው። ገና ለቫኬሽን ነው የምናወራው። መስከረም ላይ ሊሆን ይችላል የምታወሩት፣ ጥቅምት ላይ። ቫኬሽን ለኮሌጅ ተማሪ ለዩኒቨርሲቲ ተማሪ ጥር ላይ ነው የሚሆነው። Are you coming to the wedding? ሰርጉ ላይ መምጣት እንደሚችል ነው እየጠየቅን ያለ ነው። ነገር ግን ቨርቦችን ስናይ ፕሬዘንት ፕሮግሬሲቭ ናቸው። We are going to take the entrance exam next week. Look, next week ሚል ነው ያለው፣ ፊውቸር ነው። ነገር ግን በፕሬዘንት ፕሮግሬሲቭ ነው። ለምን? አሬንጅመንት ነው። ኢንትራንስ ኤግዛም በግሩፕ አሬንጅመንት ነው። You and I are going to take entrance exams next week. So future tense can be described using present progressive. That is the verb to be, am is are plus the verb ing. The second one is the use of simple present. Though we talk about future action, an action that happens sometime in the future, we can use also simple present tense. If it is the would-be meetings, meetingos ሊሆኑ ይችላሉ፣ arrange የተደረጉ meetings, timetables ሊሆኑ ይችላል፣ airline schedules። እዚህ ጋር personal arrangement አትጠቀሙም በሲምፕል present። ኦርጋናይዜሽናል ስኬጁል ሊሆን ይችላል። ለምሳሌ ዩኒቨርሲቲያችሁ የሚያወጣው ኤግዛም ታይም ቴብል ይኖረዋል፣ ሚድ ኤግዛሙ ይኖራል፣ ብሬክ ታይማችሁ ወይም ደግሞ ሚቲንግ ሊኖራችሁ ይችላል። ኔክስት ዊክ በእናንተ ድርጅት የተጠራ ኤርላይንስ ስኬጁል፣ ይሄ ሁሉ በሲምፕል ፕሬዘንት ነው የሚገለጽ ማለት ነው። አንላይክ but not in personal arrangements. Look at the examples. The meeting takes place this afternoon. Maybe the meeting called by the university, called by the dean office, the meeting called by your office. Exam doesn't start till next week. Schedule negative እንዴት እንደምንጠቀም ለማሳየት ነው ያመጣሁት። still in the simple present tense ዩኒቨርሲቲው ወይም ደግሞ ኤኒ ኮሌጅ ሊሆን ይችላል ኤግዛም እስከ ኔክስት ዊክ አይሰጥም። ከኔክስት ዊክ በኋላ ነው አሬንጅ የተደረገው ማለት ነው። the plane arrives at 5 o'clock 5 ሰዓት ላይ ይደርሳል። ዛሬ ላይሆን ይችላል። ስለ ዛሬ ላይሆን ይችላል የምናወራው፣ ስለ ሳምንት ሊሆን ይችላል። 2 ሳምንት ስለሚደርስ ፕሌን፣ ነገር ግን ኤርላይኑ ስኬጁሉ 5 ሰዓት ላይ ነው ማለት ነው የከሰዓቱ በረራ። so the plane arrives at 5 o'clock. So simple present is used to express future actions or events. But personal schedules, personal arrangements are not describing using the simple present tense. Look at this activity based on the discussion we have made, that is expressing future action based on present progressive and simple present tenses. Please change those words given in the parentheses into their right tense forms. Before that, you need to identify the kind of situation that we observe in each sentence. Look at the first one. We go to the movie tonight. What kind of future action is expressed using this sentence? The present progressive, because this indicates arrangement, group arrangement. I talk on the phone at this moment. This is also present progressive because it indicates personal arrangement. Final exams start next week. Organizational, institutional, schedule, timeline. I write my assignment. This is also personal arrangement. The train leave early in the morning. This is organizational, institutional schedule or arrangement. If we once categorize the sentence into present progressive and simple present in such a way, the next step will be easier for you to change the words in the parentheses into their right tense forms. Let's look at the answers in the next slide. We are going, present progressive, because this is group arrangement. I'm talking, still present progressive because this is personal arrangement. Final exam starts, simple present, institutional schedule, timeline. I'm writing my assignment, personal schedule. The train leaves early in the morning. This is also organizational schedule. So you should look at the contexts first when you change the given words into their right tense forms. በዚህ መልኩ አሬንጅ ታደርጋላችሁ ማለት ነው። This much is enough for today. Thank you very much. Please read further to know the two uses for future to express future actions. ዛሬ ደግሞ future tense to ያልኩት this future actions, how to express future actions using be going to and simple future, that's will plus verb 1. Here is the be going to structure, the basic structure. We have be, that's the verb to be, is are, plus going to, plus the main verb, the verb 1 for, like predict, drink, play, የሚሉ ሜን verb 1 ፎርም ናቸው ማለት ነው። So the simple future tense that is used to express using the be plus going to plus main verb is the first one for prediction. Something about the present, by looking at the context that we are in presently, we can predict something and use this tense structure. Based on our sense of sight, smell, taste, hearing, or touch, we predict something to happen in the future. So we use the be going to plus tense structure, plus verb 1 tense structure. Look at the examples. The sky is dark. If it is cloudy, obviously it's going to rain. So we predict the sky dark no zare. So it's going to rain. Prediction no here. So is going to plus verb 1. Here is the verb to be plus going to plus the main verb, that's verb 1 4. He beckons me, መጥራት ማለት ነው። Is he going to tell me the information? ቫራይቲውን እንድታዩት ነው በኩዌስችን ፎርም ያደረኩት። still is plus going plus to plus verb 1 4 is going to tell. So I'm predicting that he is going to tell me the information because he beckons me. She is sick today. So what do you expect? Let's assume she refers to a teacher. So she's not going to give us the exam this afternoon. Is not going to give the negative form that we use here. Is not then going to plus the verb 1 4. So going to is used to predict based on the context that we are in presently. Sorry, here are the contractions. It is can be contracted in such a way, it, then we have apostrophe, then s going to, they apostrophe, then re, I apostrophe am, they are, I am. በዚህ መልኩ ኮንትራክሽን ሊያሳየን ስለሚችል ግራ ሊገባን አይገባም ማለት ነው። ሌሎችንም እናያቸዋለን ኮንትራክሽን ፎርሞችን። be going to is also used to express the future action when the sentence represents something personal plan or something personal intentions. Personal plan, personal intention. አሁን አንድ መምህር ክላሱ ሲገባ I'm going to teach you ብሎ ነው የሚጀምረው። ወይ ደግሞ ወደ ክላስ የምትጀምሩ ከሆነ I'm going to start class today. Or are you going to visit your parents this weekend? ይሄም ፐርሰናል ፕላን እየጠየቅን ነው። I'm not going to teach you this afternoon. ይሄም ፐርሰናል ፕላን እየተናገረ ነው ማለት ነው። So I am going to ብለን ከተናገርን ፐርሰናል ፕላናችን ወይም ደግሞ ኢንቴንሽናችንን እናሳያለን። አክሽኑ ፊውቸር፣ ኤቨንቱ ፊውቸር ሆኖ ማለት ነው። The second one is the use of simple future to express future action or future event. እነዚህ የተለመዱ ናቸው። will plus verb 1 ወይም the main verb, will helping verb ነው። we have the subject, we have the main verb plus the object. then subject ይኖረናል። ያኛው በጥያቄ ሲሆን ነው። ከዛ helping verb then plus note the main verb and object. በኤግዛምፕል ብናየው ይቀለናል እነዚህ ቴንስ ፓተርኖች እና ተመልሳችሁ ስትራክቸሩን ታያላችሁ ኤግዛምፕሉን ካያችሁ በኋላ ማለት ነው። We will see you tomorrow. Look, እነዚህ simple future structure ናቸው። will plus main verb ነው። so helping verb ለምሳሌ question ስናደርገው plus subject plus main verb. Will you tell me the information? ብል will is helping verb, you subject ይሆናል፣ tell main verb ይሆንና the information object ይሆናል። ስቴትመንት ካደረግነው question ካልሆነ ደግሞ I helping verb will ይመጣል። I will not then main verb ኔጌቲቭ ስላደረግነው ነው። I will not tell you the information ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ለዚህ ነው simple future እነዚህ ሁለቱን ስትራክቸር ማየት ያስፈልጋል። So what is the use of simple future to express future actions? The first one is to indicate promise. We will see you tomorrow. Promise እያደረግን ነው። ነገ እንጠይቅሃለን። I will send you an email. ኢሜይል እልክልሃለሁ። ኮንትራክሽን ፎርም ናቸው የመጀመሪያ ሁለቱ የተጠቀምኩባቸው we apostrophe then ll I apostrophe ll. I will help you with the assignment. አሳይመንቱን አግዝሃለሁ። ስለዚህ will plus verb 1 ከተጠቀም future action ሆኖ ፕሮሚስን ኢንዲኬት ያደርግልናል ማለት ነው። prediction አሁንም በwill plus verb 1 ቅድም I'm going to በሚለው አይተናል። አሁን ደግሞ በwill plus verb 1 ነው የምናይ። it will be a nice day tomorrow predict እናደርጋለን based on maybe the situation that we take into account. We predict it will be a nice day tomorrow. ባለፈው ግብፅን አሸንፋለች ኢትዮጵያ። So I think Ethiopia will qualify African Cup of Nations. Predict እያደረኩ ነው ለአፍሪካን ካፕ ኦፍ ኔሽን ትቀርባለች ማለት ነው፣ ትደርሳለች ማለት ነው። I'm sure you will enjoy the film. ፊልሙን በማየት የፊልሙን ርዕስ በማየት ወይ እናንተ ማየታችሁ ሊሆን ይችላል ኢንጆይ እንደምታደርገው ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። ሶ ፕሪዲክሽን ለዚህ ያገለግልናል ማለት ነው። ፊውቸር አክሽንን በዊል ፕላስ ቨርብ ዋን ዲስክራይብ እናደርግበታለን ማለት ነው። ስፖንታኔስ ዲሲዥን፣ ኢንስታንት ዲሲዥን፣ ፈጣን የሆነ ዲሲዥን ደግሞ እንወስድበታለን ኮንቴክስቱን መሰረት አድርገን። ዲ ኦፊስ ኮልድ ሚ፣ ከቢሮ ተደውሎልኛል። I will pay for the ticket soon። የትኬቱ ዋጋ ቶሎ ልክፈል ነው። መደወሉ ነው። በዛ የተነሳ ኢንስታንት ዲሲዥን ስፖንታኒስ ዲሲዥን ትወስዳላችሁ ማለት ነው። they find the task challenging, so I will help them doing it። ታስኩ ቻሌንጂንግ ነው፣ ስለዚህ አግዛቸዋለሁ ነው። ዊል ፕላስ ቨርብ ዋን። ለዛ ነው ኢንስታንት ወይም ደግሞ ስፖንታኒስ ዲሲዥን የምንለው። ታስኩ ዲፊካልት መሆኑን እንዳየን ነው ዲሲዥኑን ወይም ደግሞ ማገዛችንን የወሰን ነው ማለት ነው። I'm hungry, I will have lunch soon። It's because I'm hungry that I want to have lunch soon። ያ ዲሲዥን ወዲያው የፈለኩት ምሳ መብላት ስፖንታኒስ ሊወሰንኩት ኮንቴክስቱን አይቼ ነው ማለት ነው። ሶ ዊል ፕላስ ቨርብ ዋን ኢንስታንት ስፖንታኒስ ዲሲዥኖችን ለመናገር ይጠቅመናል ማለት ነው። ፋክትስ ኢን ዘ ፊውቸር፣ who will host the next world cup? በጥያቄ ባደረገው ወይ ደግሞ ስቴትመንት ቢሆን Qatar will host the next world cup. This is fact. Already Qatar, the country is assigned to host the next world cup. So we use will plus verb one. Next week we will start class. So ዩኒቨርሲቲው አሬንጅ አድርጎታል። ተመዝግበን ጨርሰን ከሆነ we will start class next week። ያ ፋክት ነው ማለት ነው። እኛ መንቀይረው አይደለም። በፐርሰናል አሬንጅመንት በፐርሰናል ፕላን መቀየር አንችልም። the police will investigate the crime. There is a crime that we know, so it's up to the police to investigate። ይሄ ይታወቃል። we can't change it። ግለሰብ የሚቀይረው ስላልሆነ ፋክት አድርገን እንወስደዋለን ማለት ነው። ኮንትራክሽን ፎርሙ ይሄው will not ማለት እንችላለን። Okay, based on the discussions, let's do this activity. We have two categories of tense forms in order to express future events or actions. That's the use of be going to for personal plan or intentions, and the use of will plus verb one. That's simple future for intentions, predictions, promise, etc. So look at those 5 sentences. Let's categorize into these two tense forms. I go towards the game. This is personal plan. I give you the money tomorrow. This is promise. The room is noisy. I go out. This is instant decisions or spontaneous decisions. It's because of the situation that you are in that you want to go out. The sky is black. So it is rain. Still, we have prediction based on the given context. The war between Russia and Ukraine caused many lives lost. This is a general truth in the future. በዚህ ካቴጎሪ አስቀምጠናቸዋል። እስኪ የመጀመሪያውን እንየው። ፐርሰናል ፕላን ከሆነ be going to ነው። I'm going towards a game. ፕሮሚስ ከሆነ will plus verb one ብለናል። I will give you the money tomorrow. The room is noisy. Instant intention, spontaneous intention ከሆነ will plus verb one ነው። I will go out soon ነው። The sky is black ባለው እንትን predict ልናደርግ ነው። It's going to rain. The war between Russia and Ukraine will cause many life loss because this is factual future action. Today we are going to see a new topic which is available in the communicative English 2 module, that is modal verbs. Before I just give you various instances which make them clear, I want you to see the definition of modal verbs. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs. They are
helping verbs. They are not main verbs. And they go along with the main verbs and have the meaning slightly, like the main verbs, modal verbs also may change the meaning of sentences depending on their usages. Modal verbs have different functions. They are used for expressing ability, probability, permission, request, advice, certainty, obligation, prohibition, absence of obligation, regret, prediction, and some other functions belong to modal verbs. Now let's see some of the most common functional modal verbs that are in fact prescribed in your Communicative English 2 module. The first function is expressing ability. Ability means the capability, your capability to do something. It's a state of being able to do something. እናንተ ችሎታችሁን ከምታሳዩ ከሆነ ኤቢሊቲ ሞዳልስ ነው የምትጠቀሙ ማለት ነው። ለምሳሌ can is used for present ability, could is used for past ability. If I say I will can speak English language fluently, this sentence shows the ability Abel has to speak English fluently. So ይሄን ኮንቴክስቱን በማየት ነው አሁን ወደፊትም እናያቸዋሉ በዚሁ ቪዲዮ ኤቢሊቲ permission request እያልን እንሄዳለን። So in order to differentiate the kind of functions the modal verbs have, you need to first understand the context of your sentences or the sentences given. Abel can speak English language fluently. ይሄ ምንን ነው የሚያሳየን? Ability ነው. The ability to speak English fluently. Modal verbs are also used to give for advice. We have another video which I did before regarding asking for and giving advice. ይህም በተመለከተ ሌላኛውን ቪዲዮ ሄዳችሁ ማየት ትችላላችሁ። ብሪፍ የሆነ ኤክስፕላኔሽን ሰጥቼበታለሁ። asking for and giving advice. should, ought to, had better plus infinitive without to. ምሳሌዎቹንም እዛ በሰፊው ታዩታላችሁ ማለት ነው። The other function or importance of modal is to show certainty, being sure of doing something, the quality or state of being certain. እርግጠኛ የምንሆንበት. So we use modal verbs like must, have to, and has to. ለምሳሌ you might be waiting for your mom to come to your home. So if somebody else knocks at the door, you may say, this must be my mom. ስለዚህ my mom ኮንቴክስቱን በማየት ተጠብቋት ስለነበረ this must be my mom ማለት ትችላላችሁ ማለት ነው። Look at the example given here. My partner Daniel graduated with 3.8 GPA. Wow, he must be a clever student. Depending on the first context, we use must, which shows certainty. እርግጠኛ ያደረገን ያ ነው ማለት ነው። ጓደኛችሁን እየጠበቃችሁ ከርቀት የሚመጣ ሰው የምታየው ከሆነ he must be my friend, he must be አበበ ማለት ትችላላችሁ ማለት ነው። በሃቭ ቱ and has to-ንም በዛውም መጠቀም ትችላላችሁ በሰርተኒቲ ማለት ነው። The other function of modal verbs are to indicate obligation. When we do something as a must or as a duty, we use must, have to, and has to. Look at the example given here. You must show your meal card to get into the dining room. You have to study hard in order to pass the exam. I have to go out when it stops to rain. እያልን በዚህ መልኩ obligationን ማሳየት እንችላለን. We have also past obligation. This is the present of must, have to, and has to are used for the present obligation. We have also had to and must have for the past obligation. We use had to plus infinitive, and we use must have plus verb 3 for the past obligation. Look at the example here. When we were primary school students, we had to wear uniform, had to wear. It was a must in the past to wear uniform in order to attend classes. Here is also another function of modal verbs to indicate regret, feeling of sadness. When we become regret, we use also shouldn't have, oughtn't to have plus verb 3. You can also check this in my past tutorial videos on asking for and giving advice. እዛ ላይ አሳይቻችኋለሁ። ለምሳሌ I shouldn't have sold the book ስል ሚኒንጉ ምንድን ነው? I already sold the book ግን እየተጸጸትን ነው። I should have studied hard ብል ሚኒንጉ ምንድን ነው? ማንበብ ነበረብኝ ነው ግን አላነበብንም ማለት ነው። Look at the example also given here. I should have studied hard for the exam of yesterday meaning I didn't study hard. ማንበብ ነበር ለዛ ነው ሪግሬት የሚለው። I shouldn't have joined the meeting ስብሰባውን አቴንድ ማድረግ አልነበረብኝም but you joined the meeting. So for regret in the past shouldn't or should plus have plus verb 3 oughtn't or ought to have plus verb 3 በዚህ መልኩ መናገር እንችላለን ማለት ነው። Here is also another use of modal verbs that is prohibition, not allowing something to do. Prohibition መከልከል ማለት ነው። Forbidding someone not to do something. You mustn't insult me. መስደብ የለብህም። You can't come to school without uniform. ያለ ዩኒፎርም መምጣት አትችልም። ልትሰድበኝ አይገባም። mustn't, can't plus infinitive without to. Don't forget, in most cases, if we have modal verbs, the main verb will be without infinitive to. I can't run ነው እንጂ I can't to run አንልም። I can't do it ነው እንጂ I can't to do it አንልም። Look, he mustn't insult people. Here prohibition ነው. This is not allowing someone to do something. Absence of obligation is also another function for modal verbs. Does, do not have to, do or doesn't need to. እነዚህ ብዙ ጊዜ do does የሚሉ ያው ሲንጉላር ቨርብ ስለምጠቀም ነው። You don't have to tell me the truth. አያስፈልግህም መናገር። You don't have to bring another chair. We have enough here. Look, the example also given here. I will lend you the book. You don't have to buy it. So this is absence of obligation. መግዛት እኮ አይጠበቅብህም። You don't have to bring me the materials. I have already bought them. እነዚህን መለየት ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። Permission is also another function of modal verbs. Allowing something to do, allowing someone to do something. This is an approval of a person to do something. Can, could, may plus infinitive without to. You can leave the room if you are sneezing. You can leave the room is allowing someone to do something. May I use a calculator on the test? This is also asking for permission. May I go out? Yeah. May I take your pen? May I use your book? Are also asking for permission. Request is also another function of modal verbs, asking for something. Or if you want to do something, we may have a situation to ask for another person. So we use would, could, will, can plus infinitive without to. Have a look at the examples. Would you lend me your handout? Can I borrow your pen? Can I use your materials? Would and could are not the past tense form of will and can here. They are more formal than will and can. In the case of ability, we make would, could as past form of will and can, but not in this case. Possibility is also another function of modal verbs. The possibility, the probability to do something. It might be raining outside, or he might bring the material. It could be a car accident. እያልን probability ካለው situation ተነስተ መናገር እንችላለን። Look at the example here. There is cloud today. It may rain. የሆነ ሰው እየተደሰተ ብታዩት he is happy. He might pass the exam እንለዋለን ማለት ነው። This is all about the present probability. We can also use modals for past possibility or past probability. That is may or might or could plus have plus verb 3. ብዙ ጊዜ ፓስት አክሽንን በሞዳል ምንገልጽ ከሆነ አድቫይስ የሚሆን አብሰንስ ኦፍ ኦብሊጌሽን የሚሆን ሃቭ ፕላስ verb 3 ያለን ማለት ነው። አቤል might have bought the book. This is a probability in the past. መጽሐፉን አምጥቶት ሊሆን ይችላል ነው። Or she might have bought the materialun ገዝተው ሊሆን ይችላል። Or he might have done the assignment. Assignment ሰርቶት ሊሆን ይችላል። So could has less probability here or less possibility to be, but may, can has high probability to happen. Wish is also another function for modal verbs. የሆነ ዊሽ ስናደርግ ስንመኝ ጥሩ ነገር ሜይ ጋድ ብለስ ዩ ሜይ ጋድ ቢ ዊዝ ዩ የሚሉ እንትኖችን መጠቀም እንችላለን በሞዳል ቨርብስ። ፕሮሚስ ቃል ስንገባ፣ ፕላን ስናደርግ አውል ቪዚት ዩ አውል ጊቭ ዩ ዘ ማቴሪያል አውል ጆይን ዩ ዲስ አፍተርኑን ሉክ አት ኦልሶ ዘ ኤግዛምፕል ሂ አውል ሾው ዩ ሃው ቱ ጌት ሬጂስተር ኢን ኦንላይን። እነዚህ ፕሮሚስ ወይም ኢንቴንሽን ናቸው ለአንድ ሰው ቃል ምንገባለት ማለት ነው። ሂር አር ዘ አክቲቪቲስ insert, must, may, can't, shouldn't have, should have, might have, and do not have to in the appropriate blank spaces. But before you do it, you need to see the context. አሁን እኔ ሪከመንድ የማደርጋችሁ ከኤክስፒሪየንስም ፈተናም ላይ ይሁን ኤኒ ሲቹዌሽን ለዴይ ቱ ዴይ ኮሚኒኬሽን ቢሆን ሞዳሎችን ከመጠቀማችሁ በፊት you need to analyze, synthesize the context you are given there. በደንብ አርጋችሁ አናላይዝ አርጋችሁ ሲንተሳይዝ አርጋችሁ መወሰን ይኖርባችኋል ማለት ነው። where is my handout? then B says I don't know. John blank take it. So what kind of context is it? Is it all about possibility, probability? Is it about advice? Is it about absence of obligation? I don't know. Look at the context. መልሱን ነግራችኋለሁ። እናንተ ዲስከስ አርጉና ከጨረሳችሁ በኋላ መልሱን ወደሚቀጥለው ስላይድ ወስዳችኋለሁ። I feel a pain in my back. እንግዲህ ጀርባውን ታሟል ይሄ ልጅ። I belong to clinic. Is it a must? Is it a probability, possibility? Is it regret? ምንድን ነው ኮንቴክስቱ? You belong by this clause. You belong by this clause. You exact ከዚህ አሁን ኮንቴክስቱ አይገባንም። Look, you exactly have the same fashion at home. ተመሳሳይ ልብስ አለ፣ ተመሳሳይ ፋሽን አለ። So absence of obligation ነው፣ advice ነው፣ regret ነው፣ possibility, ability ይሄን ማየት ትችላላችሁ። አም ተርስቲ ተጠምቻለሁ እያለ ነው። ጠምቶኛል እያለ ነው። ዋው ይላል ጓደኛው። ዩ ብላንክ ቢ ኪዲንግ እየቀለድክ መሆን አለበት። ዩ ሃቭ ኦልሬዲ ድራንክ 5 ሊትርስ ኦፍ ዋተር ቢፎር ካፕል ኦፍ ሚኒትስ 5 ሊትር ጠጥተሃል። ሶ ምንድን ነው ይሄ? አቢሊቲ ነው? አብሰንስ ኦፍ ኦብሊጌሽን፣ ፖሲቢሊቲ፣ ፕሮባቢሊቲ ነው? እስኪ እዩትና ቪዲዮዎችን እንደገና አዳምጣችሁ ስሩት። አቤል ዋዝ አብሰንት ፍሮም ክላስ የስተርዴይ ዋት ዋዝ ሮንግ ዊዝ ሂም ሲል ሌላኛው ልጅ ኦ አምናት ሰርተን ሂ ብላንክ ቢን ሲክ አምናት ሰርተን ካለ ሰርተን ያልሆነበትን ጉዳይ ነው። ሶ እዚህ ጋር ማስቀመጥ ይኖርብናል ማለት ነው። አቤል ብላንክ ጋን ባይ ባጃጅ አት ናይት በባጃጅ ሂዷል ማለት ነው። ኢት ዋዝ ኮምፕሊትሊ ሮንግ ኦፍ ሂም ሲንስ ኢትስ ዩዥዋሊ ቨልነራብል ቱ ጋንግስ ለሌቦች ይዳረጋል ነው። ሶ ምን አይነት ሞዳል ቨርቦችን ነው የምጠቀመው? በደንብ አናላይዝ አርጉትና የተሰጠውን ኮንቴክስት መልሱ ማለት ነው። here are the answers for the given activity. yeah for the number 1 may, should ስንል አሁን ought to መኖሩን አትርሱ። do not have to፣ must፣ have to አብሮ ይሄዳል። has to ያው የሳብጀክቱን እያያችሁ might have፣ may haveም ሊሆን ይችላል፣ could have ሊሆን ይችላል፣ shouldn't have። በእያንዳንዱ በፐርሚሽን ስር ያሉትን ሁሉም ማንበብ በፕሮባቢሊቲ በኤቢሊቲ ይሄን ማየት ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። ፈተናችሁ ላይ በዚህ መልኩ ቴክኒካል የሆኑ ነገሮችን ማወቅ ያስፈልጋል። this much is enough for this video. Please subscribe after watching the video. Thanks. ሰላም እንዴት ናችሁ ውድ ተማሪዎች? በዛሬው ቪዲዮአችን ደግሞ direct and reported speech የሚሉትን እናያለን። I hope that most of you have prior knowledge about direct and reported speech. They appeared in your high school and preparatory classes. Before we look at the instances or the examples about direct and reported speech, let's see their notions. Direct speech is normally the original speech, the actual word of the first speaker. This happens when there is no time. We use direct speech when we think there is no time difference between the actual utterance and the report. ቀጥታ የሰውየውን ንግግር የምናስቀምጥ ከሆነ ነው ይሄ ዲሬክት ስፒች የምንለው። ወይም ደግሞ ኦሪጂናል ወይም አክቹዋል ወርድስ ከሆነ without changing any word, without using paraphrases If we put the actual or the original speech of the first speaker, that's the direct speech. So we use quotation as usual. Direct speech ላይ quotation እንጠቀማለን. Do not use the reporting word that. We use that for indirect speech. Reported speech, normally the indirect speech are the paraphrased form of the first speech. ይሄኛው በራሳችን ፓራፍሬዝ አድርገን ሪፖርት የምናደርገው ነው. But without changing the meaning of the first speech or the direct speech of the first speaker. We don't need to change the words, I mean the meaning. When we report the idea of someone to somebody else, we call it reported or indirect speech. When there is time difference, that we need to use a reported speech. And we don't use quotation mark, unlike the direct speech. We use that when we report someone's speech. እኔ ለምሳሌ የምናገረው ቀጥታ እኔ ተማሪ ነኝ አም ስቱደንት የሚለው ቀጥታ ከተቀመጠ that's the direct speech። ሌላው ግን he said that he was a student ቢለኝ ይሄ reported speech ነው ማለት ነው። So there are issues that we need to consider when we change direct into reported or indirect speech. ቪዲዮውን አይታችሁ እንደጨረሳችሁ ሰብስክራይብ ማድረጋችሁን እንዳትረሱ። Here are the changes we need to consider. Tense change, pronoun, adverb, and adjective change. So when you do or when you change direct into reported speech, I recommend you to have the checklist. ፈተናም ላይ ይሁን ለአንዳንድ ነገር ዲሬክት ሪፖርትድን ስትቀይሩ እነዚህን ቼክሊስቶች መያዝ ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። እንደ ቼክሊስት መያዝ ያስፈልጋል። አንዳንዴ ቴንሱን ብቻ እንቀይርና ፕሮናውኗን አይ ወደ ሂ ወይም ደግሞ ወደ ሺ ሊያስፈልገን ስለሚችል እንረሳታለን። አድቨርቡም እንደዚሁ አድጀክቲቭም እናየዋለን ዋን ባይ ዋን። ናው ሌትስ ሲ ቴንስ ቼንጅ። የምታስታውሱ ከሆነ አክቲቭ ኤንድ ፓሲቭ ቮይስስ የራሱ የሆነ ቴንስ ቼንጅ አለው እና ከዲሬክት ኤንድ ሪፖርትድ ስፒች ጋር እንዳይቀላቀልብን እንዳይምታታብን በደንብ ልንለየው ይገባናል። ሲምፕል ፕሬዘንት ቴንስ is changed into simple past tense in the case of direct into reported speech. Look at this. Abel said, here we have comma, quotation, I like watching film, full stop, quotation is closed. ይሄ ነው direct speech ስታስቀምጡ በዚህ መልኩ ነው you should count it. ኮማ መኖሩን ኮቴሽን ፉል ስቶፕ ምኑ ጋር መሆኑን ኮቴሽን መዘጋቱን አንዳንዴ ፉል ስቶፑን መጨረሻ አድርገው ቾይስ ላይ ሊያመጡባችሁ ስለሚችሉ you have to be aware of it. የመጀመሪያው ኤግዛምፕል ቆንጆ ነች። Now when we change it into direct speech, we need to consider first the tense. Abel said that like is simple present, we should change it into simple past. He liked watching film. አሁን ፕሮናውን ቼንጅ አለ እዚህ ጋር አይ የሚለው ወደ ሂ ተቀይሯል፣ ግን ሌላ ፓርት ስላለን ፕሮናውን ቼንጅ እዚሁ ቪዲዮ ላይ ወደዛ እንመጣበታለን። So for the time being we only focus on the tense change. Present continuous tense am is are plus verb ing is changed into past continuous tense. Look at the example. Abel said I'm writing English note now. I'm writing is changed into was writing. Present perfect is changed into past perfect. Has, have plus verb 3 is changed into had plus verb 3. For both has and have, we have had as a past form. Daniel said, I have copied the module. Daniel said that he had copied. Look, have copied is changed into had copied. He has copied ብንልም he had copied ነው የምንለው ማለት ነው። Simple past is changed into past perfect. I did my assignment ይላል። did is changed into had the. ፓስት ፐርፌክት በየትኛውም ኬዝ had plus verb 3 ነው ማለት ነው። Past continuous is changed into past perfect continuous. Look, was, were plus verb ing is past continuous. Had plus been plus verb ing is past perfect continuous. So was writing is changed into had been writing. Simple future is changed into conditional tense. Will write is given here in the direct speech. When we change it into reported speech, we make it would write, would plus verb 1, present conditional. You can look at my video on conditional sentences if you want to know the 3 types. Pronoun change ነው። ቴንስ ቼንጅ አሁን አይተናል። ፎርሞችን ይዞ መግባት ነው። ፎርሞቹን ሜሞሪ ውስጥ አስቀምጦ መቀየር ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። direct reported speech ስንቀይር it's not only the tense change that matters, but also the pronoun change is also another activity we need to think of when we change directing to reported speech. First person pronoun to third person pronoun should be changed. ለምሳሌ እኔ I am a student ብል ሌላ ሰው ሪፖርት ቢያደርግ ስለ እኔ he said that he was a student ነው የምንለው። I is changed into he። ሴት ከሆነች ደግሞ I is changed into she። we are students ብል ሌላ ሰው ሪፖርት ሲያደርግ they are students I mean they were students ብሎ ነው ሪፖርት የሚያደርገው። እነዚህን በደንብ ማየት ያስፈልጋል። ሳብጀክት ቼንጅ ያ ነው። I he she we ናቸው ሳብጀክት ቼንጅ። they are students he is a student she is a student we are students ይሄ ፕሮናውኑ ሳብጀክት ይሆናል። ኦብጀክት ኬዝ he likes me ብል ለምሳሌ me is object he likes me ሌላ ሰው ሪፖርት ሲያደርገው አሁን he likes him ነው me ወደ him ሴት ብትሆን ደግሞ he likes her ነው የሚሆነው። እኛ ከሆነ ደግሞ he likes us ከሆነ ደግሞ he likes them ብሎ ነው ሪፖርት የሚያደርገው ማለት ነው። ፖሰሲቭ my book ከሆነ this is my book ብል he said this was his book ሴት በሆነ this was her book ነው የሚለው። እኛም ደግሞ this is our book ብንል አድጀክቲቭ ነው our possessive adjective this is our book ብንል ሌላ ሰው ሪፖርት ሲያደርግ this is their books ነው የሚለው። our books ያልኩትን their books። possessive pronoun this is my book this is mine ብል this is his ይላል። ወይ ደግሞ ሴት ከሆነ this is hers these are ours ብል these are theirs ነው የሚሆነው። so subjective ከሆነ I we he she ነው። ኦብጀክት ኬዝ ከሆነ መጨረሻ ላይ የሚመጡት he likes me he likes us የሚሉት ናቸው። me us። possessive adjective my book ብል book is a noun my is adjective። our books ብል books noun ነው our is adjective። ፕሮናውን የምንላቸው ደግሞ this is mine መጨረሻ ላይ this is ours የምንለው ነው ማለት ነው። ይሄን መለየት ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። ከዛ he ወደ him ወደ his አሁንም ሲመጣ ወደ his ወደ ፖሰሲቭ ፕሮናውን ሲመጣ ሺም በዚህ መልኩ ሺ የሚለው hers እያለ እንደሚሄድ ቴብል ሰርታችሁ አስቀምጣችሁ ዲሬክት ኢንቱ ሪፖርት ውስጥ ቀይሮ በዚህ መልኩ ማየት አለባችሁ ማለት ነው። እኔ ተማሪ ነኝ ብል እናንተ ሪፖርት ብታረጉ ለሶስተኛ አካል እኔ ተማሪ ነኝ አትሉ። በዛ መልኩ አለም ሪፖርት የሚደረግ እሱ ተማሪ ነኝ ያለ ነው የምትሉት። እሱ ብላችሁ ነው የምትሄዱ። ሴም ኢን እንግሊሽ I am a student ብል he said that he was a student ነው የምንለው። so I is changed into he. if it is a she should be used as a pronoun. second person pronoun the same. you is changed into I or we or as they. you ብሎ እኔንም ሊጠቁም ስለሚችል ወደ ሌሎችንም እንደዚሁ ሰርድ ፐርሰን ሊያደርግ ስለሚችል they እንለዋለን። ኦብጀክት ኬዝ ሲሆን ደግሞ you is changed into me or as or changed into them. possessive adjective your book ብንል your possessive adjective ነው changed into my or our። ለምሳሌ this is your book ብለው አንድ ልጅ he told me that this was my book ነው የሚለው። ብዙዎችን ከሆነ ደግሞ ያልኩት this is your books ብላቸው these are your books ብላቸው he told us that these were our books እንላለን ማለት ነው። so were I mean your our ሆነ ማለት ነው their ሆነ ማለት ነው። ይሄን በደንብ ማየት ያስፈልጋል። possessive pronoun this is yours ብሎ አንድን ሰው he told me that this was mine ይላል ማለት ነው። በዚህ መልኩ ours theirs የሚለውንም መቀየር ያስፈልጋል። እነዚህን on a separate sheet of paper ፕሮናውኖቹን እዚህ ጋር ፕሮናውን ቼንጅ a b ብዬ ያስቀመጥኳቸውን መያዝ ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። it's not only as I said the tense that you are supposed to change when you change direct into reported speech. Pronouns are also part and parcel of the activity. Adverb change, this is simple. Now is changed into they. Today is changed into that day. Tomorrow is changed into the following, the next day. Yesterday is changed into the day before, the previous day. Ago is changed into before. Adjective change, this is changed into that. This is changed into those. Let me show you one instance which we saw before. Yeah, look. Daniel said, I did my assignment yesterday. Daniel said that, we use that without quotation. I is changed into he. tense changed, simple past tense is changed into past perfect tense. Yesterday is changed into the day before. Here it is the day before. So do it in such a way. እነዚህ ሙሉዎችን ማየት ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። ሶስቱንም ማየት ያስፈልጋል በጥንቃቄ። Consider these. These are remarks. If the direct speech is an interrogative form or a question form, use asked, inquired, wanted to know instead of that when you report it. Are you a student? ብላችሁ ልክ እንደ ቅድሙ he said that አይደለም ሄደው he asked that he asked me, he inquired me, he wanted to know if I was a student. Look, ያው if ከተጠቀምን whereንም wasን መጠቀም እንችላለን. Don't forget that. Use if or whether when the question is yes or no type. Are you students? ብል he inquired us if we were students ነው የምንለው or whether we were students. Is it yours? ብል or is the book yours? ብል he wanted to know if the books were mine. በዚህ መልኩ ነው የምንቀይረው ማለት ነው። Imperatives, commands, use ordered, commanded, warned, told when we change the speech into reported. Look, the example here. The teacher said to us, do your project. This is a direct speech, obviously. When you change it into reported, you can do like this. The teacher ordered us to do our project. Close the door ብላችሁ the teacher command me to close the door ነው የምትሉት። so subject ይኖረናል plus warned, commanded, told plus object plus infinitive. the teacher ordered us to close ነው infinitive አለው ማለት ነው። እነዚህን ሪማርክ ማየት ያስፈልጋል በደንብ ላይክ ጂኦግራፊ ሂስትሪ እንደምትሸመድዱት ዲሬክት ሪፖርትድ ስፒች ቴንሱ ፕሮናውኑ አጀክቲቭ እነዚህ ኮንሲደሬሽን መጠናት አለባቸው before you sit for your exams. Now do these activities. These are all direct speech. Change them into reported speech. So for this video consumption, I ask you to change direct into reported. You may have also other activities, maybe in your exams, that you're supposed to change indirect into reported speech. ያንም ማሰብ ያስፈልጋል። እኔ እዚህ ጋር ዲሬክት ሪፖርትድ ብዬ ባመጣው እናንተ ደግሞ ሪፖርትድ ወደ ዲሬክት ልትጠየቁ ስለምትችሉ you should look at these questions from different perspectives. The first one, Abel said, I have finished reading the book. So change it into reported. But do not forget, there could be different issues that you need to consider when you change direct into reported speech, like tense change, pronoun change, adverb change, adjective change, as I already described in the videos earlier. The teacher said to students, these smart boards are not working well. Still, you need to think about those changes. Take them as a checklist, as I told you before. The teacher said to students, is there anyone absent today? This is interrogative. The representative said to the teacher, will we modify our schedule? This is also interrogative. There are issues, considerations that I told you before this slide about changing interrogative into reported speech. The teacher said to her, do not be late for class. This is also command, so do not forget those pointers. I just remind you before this changing command to reported speech. Okay, here are the answers. This much is enough. Do not forget to subscribe the video. ውድ ተማሪዎች እንዴት አላችሁ? ትምህርት ጥሩ ነው? I hope so. Today's tutorial video focus on relative clauses. You can see the defining and non-defining relative clauses in your module, Communicative 2 module. So we will have a look at some of the instances and rules behind those two clauses. Let's see the definition of relative clause. It's nothing else but the dependent clause in a sentence that consists of a relative pronoun It doesn't stand alone. It doesn't give us a complete meaning. Look at those relative pronouns: who, whom, which, where, when, and that. If of these relative pronouns and the respective clause, we name it a relative clause. Look at the example. Who is in my dormitory? Who is in my dormitory is a relative clause. This is a dependent clause. It can't give us complete meaning. በራሱ ሰንተንስ መሆን አይችልም። ሌላውን ብናየው ግን the student works hard የሚለውን this can stand by itself. It gives us a complete meaning. So relative clause ማለት relative pronoun ይዞ dependent clause ከሌላው clause የተለየ ከሆነ relative clause እንለዋለን ማለት ነው። We have two types of relative clause, defining and non-defining relative clause. As the name implies, defining relative clause defines, gives essential information about the subjects of the given sentence. Whereas non-defining relative clause are extra information. Look at the characteristics given here. I better move on to the non-defining relative clause in order to make it clear. በደንብ ግልጽ እንዲሆን non-defining ላይ ልጀምር። non-defining relative clause ማለት ኤክስትራ ኢንፎርሜሽን ተጨማሪ መረጃ ተጨማሪ ኢንፎርሜሽን ከሆነ we use comma to separate it from the main clause. It doesn't use the relative pronoun that የሚለውን አይወስድም. Whereas the defining relative clause gives essential information, important information. Without the relative clause, the defining relative clause, we cannot know the subject. But without the non-defining relative clause, we can understand the subject. I will give you an instance. User doesn't use comma because the information is essential, necessary. We shouldn't separate it from the main clause. Use relative pronoun that እንጠቀማለን ማለት ነው። እናየዋለን በኋላ ስንቀይር። ለምሳሌ the president of Ethiopia whom I met yesterday is a woman. አሁን whom I met yesterday የሚለው relative clause ነው። Is it essential information or extra information? This is extra information. The president of Ethiopia is a woman ብል በራሱ በቂ ነው። Everybody knows who the president of Ethiopia is. ማንን ሪፈር እያደረግን እንደውም ማወቅ እንችላለን። The teacher ይሄን ግን አናውቅም። is generous ብንል የምናውቀው መምህር አይደለም። እዚህ ጋር ሳብጀክቱን ዲፋይን አናደርገውም። So there need to be a defining relative clause. The teacher whom we met in the meeting is generous. Look, the teacher whom we met in the meeting የትኛው መምህር ነው? ስብሰባ ላይ ያገኘነው መምህር ነው እያወራን ያለ ነው። So this is defining relative clause. Without this, we can't understand the subject. But in the case of non-defining relative clause, we can understand the subject. So we separate the non-defining relative clause from the main clause using comma. Now look at this. Identify whether the given sentence are defining or non-defining. The girl, can we know who the girl is? No, we can't. So we need to have a clause. Who scored good result in ILA 10-11 is from Addis. The girl is from Addis. ብንል አናውቅም። ማነች በኢላ 10-11 ጥሩ ውጤት ስኮር ያደረገች? ኦኬ ምናውቃታለች ከኛ ክላስ። So this is defining relative clause. I like University of Gondar. Yeah, everybody knows University of Gondar. So which I am learning in is extra information. So this is non-defining relative clause. I like University of Gondar. By itself is enough. ይሄ በቂ ነው። The other information is additional. My mother. So if you are a friend of me, if you are talking to me, obviously you know who my mother is. So the information doesn't need another essential information. My mother define ይደረጋል። እናውቃታለን የኔን እናት ማለት ነው አብረን እስካለን ድረስ። Who lives with me is very generous. Who lives with me is additional information. So this sentence is non-defining. The second one is also non-defining. The courses. Which courses? The courses that you're going to take in the next year, in the next semester, in the coming semester, or the courses that you already took in the previous semester? We don't know. So we need to have necessary information, essential information to define the courses. Which we are taking this semester require us to read a lot. Look, which we are taking this semester close ነው። ስለዚህ defining ነው። The courses require us to read a lot ብንል የትኛው ኮርስ? የምናውቀው ነገር የለም። ሶ which we are taking this semester is defining relative clause። በዚህ ሴሚስተር የምትወስዱት ኮሚኒኬቲቭ እንግሊሽ 2 ጂኦግራፊ ሊኖር ይችላል። እነሱን ማለት ነው ስሊፓችሁ ላይ ያሉ ኮርሶችን በዚህ መልኩ ታውቃላችሁ ማለት ነው። which we are taking this semester በሚለው ይኸው ዲፋይኒንግ፣ ኖን ዲፋይኒንግ፣ ኖን ዲፋይኒንግ፣ ዲፋይኒንግ በደንብ ማጤን ትችላላችሁ እዚህ ጋር። Here are the relative pronouns and the respective functions. Who is for pronoun, person pronoun as a subject. I, we, he, she, they. ቅድም ያልኩት I am a student, we are students, he is a student, she is a student, they are students እያልን ካመጣን who ነው ፕሮናውንን ሪፕሬዘንት የምናደርገው። whose possession, whose book is it ብንል ለምሳሌ possession ነው ማለት ነው። whom object pronoun, the person whom I like the person whom I like most. whom ፕሮናውንን ሪፈር ያደርጋል። I subject ስለሆነ ማለት ነው። which objects and animals but typically for non-defining clauses. ኮማ ከተጠቀምን which አለ ማለት ነው። that for people and things, typically for defining clauses. where for places, when for time. So if you are given blank spaces like this, you need to identify first the functions of these relative pronouns. Let me give you one. Let me do question number 1 as an instance. The exam blank we took yesterday was very difficult. The exam is a thing. It's not animal. It's not a person. But this is a thing, the exam, an object. The exam which we took yesterday was very difficult. The exam that we took yesterday was very difficult. That or which the persons, people and things, object and for strict grammatical usage ብለናል። which ለምንድን ነው የሚያገለግለው? ለኖን ዲፋይኒንግ ሪሌቲቭ ክሎዝ። እዚህ ጋር ግን the exam we took yesterday ዲፋይኒንግ ስለሆነ that is preferable ስትሪክት ግራመር ስናይ ማለት ነው። ካልሆነ that and which are used for things and objects. My father blank works in Gondar Specialized Comprehensive Hospital is a physician. My father is a physician. So ኮማ ያደረግንበት ኖን ዲፋይኒንግ ሪሌቲቭ ክሎዝ ስለሆነ ነው። ሶ የትኛው ነው ሪሌቲቭ ፕሮናውን ትክክለኛ? choose among these. Here you are given who, whom, which, when, where, whose and that. My father, is it a subject, an object? Identify first. Then if it is a subject, you use who. If it is object pronoun, you use who. One of my friends blank ID has been lost, is not allowed to get into campus. One of our friends, identify whether this is a subject or a pronoun. The teacher blank I talked to you about last week is orator. Is it a subject, a pronoun? The same for question number 5. Do them and then look at the answers on the next slide. Here are the answers. Do not forget to subscribe the video after watching it. Thank you very much. I wish you to have a nice stay at your university. I hope that this is interesting for you.